Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something pretty incredible. It's the invisible engine that powers the world's biggest companies, a system that silently makes sure billions of dollars in transactions happen smoothly and, prevents total chaos on a global scale. It's all thanks to a hidden set of rules we're about to uncover. I mean, just think about it for a second. Millions of documents all connected to each other. A price gets quoted, an order is placed, a product ships out, an invoice gets sent. How does all of that stay perfectly in sync every single time, all across the planet? Well, the answer is this kind of secret blueprint. It acts like the company's central nervous system, and it dictates the rules for every single step of a sale. In the world of big enterprise software like SAP, this blueprint has a name, copy control. And honestly, understanding it is the key to understanding how modern business really works. So let's take a closer look at this nervous system. In the real world, it runs the entire show, from the moment an order is placed to the moment the cash is in the bank. Copy control is the master set of rules that make sure data flows consistently from one document to the next. It's the guardian of the whole process, making sure no steps are missed and no rules are ever broken. And the most important part of that sentence? Enforcing business logic. See, this isn't just a simple copy-paste job. Not at all. Copy control is smart. It actively decides what information gets copied, what needs to be recalculated, and, this is the big one, whether a transaction should even be allowed to happen in the first place. So, how does it do all this? Well, the whole system is organized with some serious precision, kind of like an architect's plan for a building. It's built on 3 different levels of detail, and each one controls a different part of the transaction. Let's break down that blueprint. First, you've got the header level, which is like the building's foundation and its street address. Then there's the item level. That's all the individual rooms and what's inside them. And finally, you have the schedule line level, which you can think of as the final move-in schedule. The header is the first checkpoint. It's all about the big picture stuff. Who's the customer? What are the payment terms? Where's it going? And if the rules at this foundational level aren't met, let's say the customer on the delivery doesn't match the customer on the order, bam, the entire process stops cold. No foundation, no house. Simple as that. Next up, the item level. Now, this is really the heart of the transaction. Every single product or service is like a different room in the house, and each one has its own set of rules. How should this specific laptop be priced compared to that service contract? Can this item get a discount but not that one? The blueprint manages every single one of those details for every line item. And finally, we have this schedule line. This is all about logistics. Let's say you have one big order for 100 things. You might deliver 50 of them this week and the other 50 next month. This level is what controls that precise schedule, making sure delivery dates get copied correctly from a quote to an order, which then sets the entire supply chain in motion. Okay, so we've got our 3 levels structured down, but what kind of rules are actually running inside this blueprint? Well, they basically fall into 2 really powerful categories. You can think of them as the gatekeepers and the mappers. These 2 functions are totally different, but they work together perfectly. On one hand, you have the gatekeepers. They're like security guards. They ask, is this allowed? So, for example, has the customer passed their credit check? If not, the gate stays closed. Then, on the other hand, you have the mappers. They're like the movers. They ask, okay, what information are we copying over? They decide if that purchase order number gets carried over exactly as is, or if it's time to recalculate taxes because something changed. Now, let's zoom in on what is probably the single most critical decision that happens at that item level. It's a choice that has massive financial consequences for any business. And it all comes down to the price. Think about this. A customer places an order in January, but you don't actually ship it and invoice them until March. In that time, prices might have gone up, taxes might have changed, or maybe there's a new promotion running. So what price do you charge them? The system needs a rule for this, and it's called the pricing type. And this is where the magic really happens. Check out this table. If you set the rule to B, the price is carried over completely, no changes allowed. This is perfect for something like a credit memo, right? You have to refund the exact amount the customer paid. But if you use C, the system keeps any manual discounts you negotiated, but it recalculates other stuff, like taxes. Super common for standard invoicing. And G locks in the product price but recalculates the taxes. That's essential for international sales where tax rates can change all the time. This one setting gives businesses an incredible amount of control. So, copy control is super powerful, but what happens when the blueprint's strict rules lead to a result you didn't see coming? Let's tackle a classic, real-world problem that drives managers crazy everywhere, the dreaded invoice split. Come on, we've all heard this, right? The user is absolutely sure everything is the same. They want one single combined invoice for a customer who got 5 deliveries this week. But the system spits out 5 different invoices, and suddenly you've got a paperwork nightmare. Why does this happen? The answer is right back in our blueprint. Remember the header level, the foundation? Well, the system is designed to combine documents into one invoice only if certain key pieces of header information are absolutely 100% identical across all of them. If there's even one tiny difference, the blueprint forces a split. And here they are, the usual suspects. Maybe one of the 5 orders had slightly different payment terms, or maybe the shipping details were entered just a little differently. It could even be that the exchange rate was different on the day one of the transactions was posted. The system checks all of these fields, and the second it finds a mismatch, it follows its rules and creates a separate invoice. Just one. That's really all it takes. A single character difference in a key field, like payment terms, across 5 deliveries is enough to trigger 5 separate invoices. The blueprint isn't trying to be difficult, it's just built for absolute consistency. So I think the crucial point here is this. Copy control isn't just a passive data pipe. It's an active, intelligent system of enforcement. It's the silent guardian of business processes, working behind the scenes to make sure a company's rules for sales, pricing, and shipping are followed perfectly, millions of times a day. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Copy control is the hidden blueprint for how goods and money flow in global commerce. But what other invisible rule engines are quietly shaping our financial systems, our social media feeds, and our daily lives? Now that's something to think about.